So here I am, very sad, as I mentioned before. I'm happy that I get to talk to you guys, but sad because I missed the whole darn presentation. So we've got people who are watching live, and some people will watch on the live stream later on. This is the chill zone. This is much less formal than that. So we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But probably a good place to start is introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Damir. You probably know me as Lower Butterfly, the producer of the film. And we're at HiveFest, showing our film in a close premiere in a couple of days. And we will see from there when you watch it at home. If you see it on YouTube, we probably did something wrong. If you see it on BitTorrent, probably somebody else did something they shouldn't have done.
Absolutely. People want it,
Yeah.
and they got to get it.
And yeah, this is Johan. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. On HiveFest, you probably know me, on Hive in general, you probably know me as Little Lamp. But in real life, yes, I'm Jovan, and I'm a film director of the movie. And like I said, if it's on BitTorrent, that's a huge success for us. That's where the good stuff happens, so yes.
All right, fair enough. So, I mean, obviously, we're probably going to talk mostly about the movie, and partially because I don't get to see it. I don't get to be here for the red carpet event. So I'm going to be feeling stupid amounts of FOMO, and probably a lot of people who are watching on the live stream aren't here. So they're going to feel stupid amounts of FOMO. So let's address the elephant in the room. It's not going to be on YouTube. What is the future for distribution of this? Because everybody's going to want to see it. So where are they going to see it first, do we think?
Yeah.
Easy questions. I'm just lobbing them at you. Just
It should probably take a couple of months, but the first place you might be able to see it is in a film festival. Which one it will be, I can't say for sure.
Yep.
The film has been completed for, a couple of weeks, so I didn't have any time before HiveFest to, do the work that's needed. But, we have some connections. These guys are really quality, they lead quality production companies. They have some connections. They worked with some high-profile clients. So we will see what happens. But so far, all we're sure about is the film festivals.
Yes.
And, that. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I mean, when it comes to strategies about the film after the film is being made, streaming services and film festivals, they basically, you need to make a strategy where to go first and how to go, because some even streaming services don't actually want the film if the film's been anywhere, even the festivals, and some want. So we need to, make a good strategy out of it and see what's best. But yeah, I mean, in some time in the future, of course, film will be available for everybody to see, of course, and
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
So this is cool. This is a really neat thing. And so, Lord Butterfly, obviously, people know him. You've been around. You're kind of a thing. But I mean, we joke a lot. But part of the nice thing is everybody on Hive gets to know everybody else, right? It's a big community, and it's also a very small community. But you're kind of newer. Obviously, now it's been at least a year that we've known each other. But you're newer to our platform, and you've got a really cool background in film and stuff like that, and he was just referencing it. So before we kind of dive more into all the cool stuff that's happened with the film, maybe introduce yourself from that perspective. Who are you outside of Hive? Which that does exist, the real world sometimes, upon occasion.
I think when it comes to this film specifically, all of that actually went into my favor when we created the film.
Yes.
Because I wasn't on the Steem, on the Hive, I wasn't there, and I kind of look at all this project quite objectively when I got in. Starting to love it along the way, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the HiveFest and everything. So yeah, I mean, when I got into all of this, I didn't know anything about crypto. 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about blockchain, so I started the research, I started everything. And that's basically how we got the fundamental idea for the narrator of the film.
Right.
So the narrator doesn't know anything about the crypto when the film starts. And then he learns along the way, he tries to learn about the crypto. And I think this is going to be maybe the only film about crypto that basically explained fundamentally what's about.
Yes.
About community. And even the most, the regular questions, what is blockchain, what is Web3, people don't know that.
Yeah.
So we are, the first part of the film is explaining a little bit about that, and then it's what it's really about, and that is community and the fight to decentralization and everything. So
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It's a perfect way of looking
And
at it. Oh,
I'm in a rock band, so just everybody
oh, okay,
needs
yeah,
a
no, shout it out.
album.
Do it, shout it out. No, hey, this is a shill fest over here. I mean, honestly, have at it. If you get stuff to sell, these are smart people. They won't buy your shit if it's shit. So, have at it.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I never tried to shill Hive to any of them, to the team.
Yeah.
He didn't have to come last year to Amsterdam. He didn't even have to come here. He did that by his own volition. And Matt Starkers, he was actually in Belgrade in Serbia a couple of months ago.
Yes.
And he was like, okay, let's see these guys. People expect when you hire someone outside of Hive that they're just gonna do their work, finish it, goodbye. And he probably assumed the same thing. So when he went down to our their offices where they do the work, and he came inside, talked to our editor. He took him into the room and he saw the big poster of FREECHAIN on the wall. That's when he got bought. He understood okay, these people are really enthusiastic about what we're doing here, what we stand for, what we're passionate about. And I think it really shows in the film once, well, not you, but once the people see it.
He's just going to take that shot
I think
over
it's
and
going to
over
show.
again. So, okay. Well, I mean, this is kind of a great seg for topics here, because obviously, we've got the absolute newbie and we've got sort of the wise guide of the decentralized wasteland. Shh, you're wise. Shh, you're wise. Wise guide, newbie. We gotta paint a picture here. You know how it works in film. We gotta paint this picture. So one of the things we've been talking about a lot today, we've been lucky, is a lot of the presentations have been from projects that have multiple people involved, and so we've gotten to talk a lot about teamwork and how a lot of our projects. Kyle and Eric were saying we got to start calling them companies. We know we hate that word, but it's the truth. We're building structures that are creating value. Projects, companies, they're made up of. Parts that address the lack that one has. So in this case, it's really, really refreshing, and you guys are in that same sort of format where you've got somebody who has this esoteric knowledge and a passion, and somebody who has no fucking clue what that is all about, but who sees it with fresh eyes and goes, I love it anyways. And sort of the ability to kind of bounce these ideas off each other and get a better product because of your diversity of opinions and viewpoints. So is it mostly just you two? Like, what does the team look like? How, because this is probably a bit bigger than just you two, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Well, when we started this off, as you said, I have some kind of knowledge when it comes to Hive and crypto. I was intending to work as basically a consultant, since I knew they had some understanding of cryptocurrencies, but not that much. So what I did, I just let them slowly learn on their own. We had a research process, and where I went through the story, went through everything that I thought should be in the film, and then he basically set up the structure of the whole film, I would say, considering all the standards of quality or storytelling that you expect in the industry. So he did that part of thing of the film. We had our editor. He was also involved with it almost from the beginning. And as time went by, I would chip in with some new ideas. They would chip in, and what we came up with, I don't think if any of us wasn't involved with the film, the editor, me, or Johan, it would be a completely different film. So,
Of course.
in the end, he's the director. He makes the decisions on what goes, what doesn't go. But I would say it was a collaborative effort, and it was a very fulfilling experience for me, since I really like film and I'm passionate about Hive, and this combines the two. So, hopefully people like it. And do you want to add something more?
No, I mean, I think you summed it out perfectly. So, yeah.
So there's the editor. Is he on Hive yet?
Actually, yes, he created a
Oh,
Hive
he's
account.
okay.
Yeah, he has a post there.
I'll post. I can't say anything because I haven't done like a personal post since 2019. So it's fine. I'm not allowed to make any comments either. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I mean, we have also the animation team because we
Yes,
have
yeah, of course. There's some great animated
yes,
segments. A lot of
yes.
the intro, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we thought about for a long time how to tell this story because it's not easy to make a story, you know. I mean, there is drama, there is everything, but it happened on a computer and a lot of things happen on a computer. So we didn't know how to explain all of it. So I think animation is going to be quite interesting and I think people are going to love it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to love it.
Well, I mean, everybody's seen the teaser trailer. Everybody's seen the teaser trailer, and there's some of it in there, and that's not even the finished work, and it's really stunning. So I think that's a great way to tackle it. Because you're right. I mean, some of our adversaries, when you kind of look at them, are just a bunch of nerds behind a computer doing absolutely nothing. So you're right. Yeah, we need a little bit more pizzazz for it. So it's a great way of tackling it for sure.
Great word. Pizzazz.
Get some zhuzh on it. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. These are I don't think these have translations. I think you're just going to have to roll with them in English.
No,
I don't think I
I'm
could
gonna-
spell either of them either. So just mental remembrance on those. But yeah, so here you are. You've become fully immersed in Hive, and now there's obviously other stories. I mean, everybody laughed at me this morning during my presentation when I said, a human blockchain full of humans, and we just human all over it. But it's the truth. And the things that we're drawn to and the things that pull us together and push us apart are inherently human. Relationships are human. Films are human. So obviously, blockchain full of stories, full of humans. And I know that that's become an area of interest for you guys, is how this has worked out. You've fallen in love with the process. There are more stories. There are obviously some other things that you guys are considering doing. Is that something you want to talk about, or is that common knowledge yet,
Sure,
that you're
sure.
setting
But-
your sights on telling more stories?
I think the producer should talk about, the.
Were you expecting this, or
I'm
did
not
I
sure
screw it
how
all up?
much I should share. Okay, so
Just
I shared
from
it
a
in the
perspective,
presentation.
yeah.
If this works, if this succeeds,
Hmm?
if this film does at least the bare minimum what we think it can,
Right.
and that it would be plenty, looking at the wider picture. I did mention you on the stage,
Oh.
just like
And it was-
crimson clad.
It was super, super complimentary,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Because I didn't see it.
Yes.
So it
You
was
didn't
very
see- oh,
nice.
Yeah. So I said,
Of course.
just like she's sharing everything nice about Hive, the features presenting us to the crypto community, this film will do the similar thing, only in an industry where we had no foothold before,
None.
where we had no reach before. So we passed the first step, creating what I would call, a compelling piece of content, and from there we will see. But as I said, if this is successful, if it achieves what I intend it to achieve, we already have a plan for the next film. It would probably be about Ghana and the boreholes project. It will be done in a very different way. And that story, I'm not sure how much people at home know about it. I think Maxam went on a podcast with Matt and Dan a few times, talked about it. But there are some amazing stories told there. I actually talked to him, me and Johan, for about 3 hours on a call one time. And we were basically silent all along, letting him speak, telling these stories. And, I don't want this to go to his head, but he's like Gandhi. The things he does
It's incredibly
there,
compelling.
and talking
Incredibly.
to these people, talking to these communities, to these tribal leaders, what he managed to achieve with that, sleeping with them, eating with them. It's we in the West take a lot of things for granted,
Sure do.
and even that film might have a more wider appeal than FREECHAIN itself.
Yeah.
I think FREECHAIN, the way we set it up, will have an appeal to the mainstream audience, but this would be, I think, something different. Johan can probably talk a bit more about that. But, if we do one film, if we do two films, now you're already talking about a high production company and working with these people, the really quality team. So I won't call it a production company yet, but sometimes in the future. And again, this is something maybe some people won't find nice. Of all the DHF projects, in all the time that Hive existed, that DHF existed. If we manage to sell this film, this will be the first time anything on Hive managed to generate any income from an external source.
Yes.
And I want to see more people think outside the box, more people present their ideas, present their proposals. I'd also like to see the whales on Hive maybe signal what they want to see from people, not just wait until the person writes the proposal, gets excited about it, and then sees nothing. If you signal what you want to see created on a Hive, then people will step up on their own. They'll say, okay, this is what they want. I think I can make something like this. I think I could do this. And that would be great for the way we spend funds there. Right now, it's mostly focused on open source software, some marketing here and there. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we should slowly change the mentality on Hive and slowly start introducing all these new things. And FREECHAIN is the first of all.
Yeah, it's
Right
fair.
now.
So it's okay because you were very diplomatic there. Good job. Because we brought up the DHF in some of the interviews today because it's okay. It's contentious. We can talk about this, and I'm carrying this same thread through. It's kind of come through the last 3 interviews because I think Chris Rice really nailed it, and we talked about it with Carl and Eric as well because they've got the Leo finance team has a DHF proposal. We were talking a bit about where people and money and voting. That's what politics is. Politics isn't a government. It isn't choosing a side. But anytime people and money and voting are in a situation, that is politics. People influence voting. Voting influences money. Money influences people. And any combination of those 3, politics. So I think that's a great idea. And it certainly is. It's very interesting to kind of tackle this from a completely different perspective and a completely different outcome, like a film versus some of these other things. So I will just say, since we gave Mixam a bunch of props, we are here at end of September? In a few days, actually right around now, maybe even right around now, Mixam is in Amsterdam actually giving a talk on exactly that. He'll be speaking at a European blockchain convention in front of a ton of people talking about the borehole project and sort of how Hive has these governance and funding solutions that are, again, very human. So shout out to Mixam. I hope your speech either goes well or went well or is currently going well, whatever, however that's working. But yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that you said that this might have even a broader appeal because you're not wrong. We were just doing some marketing in Las Vegas and we were able to bring up some of the things that the DAO has been doing, that the DHF has been doing. And every single person, I didn't need to get much further than, and we've funded boreholes for clean water across Ghana, about 11 of them now. And people just got it. And there's something about the idea of making charitable or altruistic relationships and sort of help, making that accessible to people. Because I think today's world is very negative. And I think we feel in many ways incredibly helpless about a lot of things. And we see other people being helpless. And it is a cycle that kind of brings us down a bit. And so one of the nice things, and just Trost Paradox was just talking about how he flipped from incredibly bearish to bullish and incredibly negative about blockchain to very positive. So, you guys are kind of leading that wave of it as well. Is here we are, we've got tech that's changing our lives, and is it good, is it bad? You guys are highlighting this tech that people are choosing to use for good, and you're choosing to frame it in a way, whether it's FREECHAIN, whether it's a future film, you're choosing to frame these disruptive tech relationships in an optimistic way that goes beyond, you must be on this blockchain.
Yeah. What I want to say is, even if there was no blockchain, even if there was no cryptocurrency, there was no Hive behind any of this, these stories would still be compelling. And the other films that are done in crypto, they're all focusing on the technology, on crypto. And that's something that's not really close to a lot of people. It's not close to the mainstream populace. These stories connect on a human level. And as I mentioned, our origin story, the Hive story, it's kind of like the Braveheart story, where Braveheart is the community fighting against a tyrant, choosing freedom, choosing decentralization, risking their financial livelihoods.
Yeah.
it's compelling even without the crypto side of things, and that's something that other projects do wrong outside of Hive. And what the original idea was before we went ahead with this film, to do that, to try to create a bridge between our community and the mainstream. So we will see if we succeed, but that was the idea, and I think it's a good idea so far.
I mean, obviously, I also agree. But it's been interesting to be able to separately, apart from this, kind of do the same thing. You just test telling even just a couple of lines of the story, and people are hooked very instantly. And so, I mean, I'm not a filmmaker, but that must be incredibly interesting to you. I'm assuming as someone who's in this industry, you're always looking for those stories that, like, do you kind of collect stories as you go around, like things that stick in the back of your brain that go, ooh, that'd be a good movie?
Always. That is really important, surroundings. People usually walk and they don't see anything around them.
Yeah.
That is really a problem. So yeah, I mean, the stories are amazing, but to me, the whole point about film industry in general is the audience. You're trying to send a message, you're trying to do something very, you have these goals, but the audience at the end is that, finish line. So the entire road is coming to the audience, and they're the most important thing. And to me, that is also really important, because a lot of people are trying to tell stories and they don't think about the audience. They don't think about who you're trying to tell the story to, what is about all of that. And I think that is really important. And I think that finding all these stories and getting to much as people as possible is really important for all of this.
Well, fantastic answer. And it was a bit of a leading question because I kind of tell that that's how you are. You're a very observant, person. It's interesting that you say, okay, the audience, that's my goal. I got to think about what do I want to say to them? What do I want them to perceive? We come from a blockchain that was specifically designed to get people to post content. And one of the things that's really a struggle is not everyone is a content creator, and that's fine. But so I certainly have felt that a lot of people in the past, and we're very lucky now because there are many ways to use Hive. But in the past, it was you must come, you must write content, and then you must consume other content. And the cycle is more and more and more content. So for content creators, maybe they're not film creators, how do you open yourself to being more observant? Because I think a lot of people on Hive who want to be a better writer or want to be a better content creator, what are some tools for them to start thinking about their audience? Because you have one on Hive, but some people are just like, well, today I'm going to write about toast, and tomorrow I will write about tea cozies, and then I'm out of ideas, so I'll ask ChatGPT about what's trending and get a content that way, which is not the best way.
True. I understand the question. And, the thing about content creating and in the difference to the film is that when you're a content creator, you can do by yourself everything, the idea, the style that you want to use. You firstly need to know what you want to talk about, and then after that you need to see the style of that talking, how you want to talk about it. You need to have subjects, you need to be you have to have something recognizable.
Yeah.
But the good thing about content creation is you have so many books, you have so many stuff where you can learn all that. In films you have 50, 60 people behind the camera, and you need to do a scene, and you don't have a budget and you don't have the time. So how to fix it? But I think the content creators can really, really even get better on Hive, and I honestly believe that. And we even try to do something like that. We try to create the network media, where we can actually help content creators there to post and to help them the structures of their shows and everything. But it's all the process. You need to post something out. You need to learn what happened good, wrong, and see how to make everything better.
So now you're leading me, which is perfect, because I was going to try and get there at some point if we had some time. Yeah, the DNS Media Group. So I'm supposed to be a part of it. I'm a complete failure, so ignore me. But I mean, most people don't know that this is something that's kind of brewing in the background. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that? Because this is a pretty cool endeavor. I mean,
this is the starting idea for
I don't know how involved you are.
Basically a media network.
Well, you go. You talk first, because I'm trying to make sure everybody stays connected to the conversation. So you go ahead and answer, and we'll just ignore him for a bit.
Yeah, it's
No, I don't. No, I'm in control.
That's how I feel on Hive.
Yeah. But yeah, so DNS Media, sorry.
yeah. So yeah, we're trying to make media network. I think we don't have many media networks, especially
We
for
do not.
crypto. I think we don't have actually not single one, where we can, content creators can come and post, and we can help them to with their content and the structures and everything. So yeah, I mean that's the starting goal. So we started with 14 content creators so far, and hopefully in the future we're gonna even expand it and make it bigger, and we'll see. That's the plan.
Yeah, that 13 plus an absentee. It's just me.
Never too late. Never
it
too late.
isn't. Like I said, I said it on the stage that things will come back. Like Full Force Radio will be back for Christmas. So ultimate present for all of you, or maybe nightmare. I don't know. But okay, so yeah, we're gonna swing it back around. It's just, you guys both, like you said, you come from different places. This particular film project has brought you together. So trying to make sure that I get both of your opinions on everything. But so of course that comes back. It comes back to you now. We touched on the DHF thing. And I know, you have always been really free and open with your opinions, which I think is awesome. And we talked about this earlier that, we're finally starting to have tough conversations about the DHF. And, I think probably some people see these types of interactions when you're reading them on the internet. It's really easy to project like, they're mad at each other, or like, ooh. And so one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, because it's come up in a couple of interviews now, is the process of meeting someone for the first time live, because you're obviously usually not what people expect, especially if you guys have ever looked on the chain. You have your little tiny, bee guy avatar, this little skinny thing with a little head on it, and then they see you in person and you're a freaking man mountain. So, how has that been? Because as somebody who's outspoken, I'm sure that there have been people who are probably terrified of you and then meet you and are like, oh, you're not so bad. I mean, how has that process been? Because you've been to a couple HiveFests now. Like, how have you found that?
Yeah, I just hope that people are terrified of me on Hive and not in real life. I'm quite nice when you meet me. So, actually, the other way around it should be. No. Yeah, you mentioned content creation. I just like to tell bad jokes and have some fun. And I think it's, in the end, it is about fun. If you enjoy what you're doing, you never get burned out. You continue. You find something else to do. I mean, I went from, I worked in tourism for probably like half a decade. Came on Hive, did the marketing thing for a bit, came up with a FREECHAIN idea. You never know what's going to happen in the future, and I really hope other people step up and decide to contribute. I'd really like to meet more people at HiveFest. Just say hi, grab a beer. It's been nice. Most people are nice. You can talk to them and everything else. So, they do come up to me and tell me, you're big. Okay, fine, I'm big.
How
You're
long
short,
have you been?
come on.
How long have you been hearing that? Your whole life, right?
It's actually, I'm not that, tall when
No,
it comes
it's us. We're
to
short.
our region of the world. So I'm not used to it. I'm slowly getting used to it right now.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I'm gonna come back to it. I know it's kind of an uncomfortable topic, but it's one of those things. I'm needling in on it, and it's the DHF, and the reason that I keep bringing it up, and in every interview, this is not a you thing. It's not a you thing. It's not because you have a proposal, but because for the first time ever, we're talking about it, and for the first time ever, people of all levels of stake are feeling like, hey, I can say a thing. I don't agree. I do agree. And I'm no longer as concerned. And I feel like, as uncomfortable as some of these discussions are, boy, that's positive. Like, actually, because of course we've found in the past that sometimes people are more worried about what they think is going to happen than what actually happens. And so they don't do anything. They freeze in inaction. And so even though we have this incredible social platform, only a few people at first are willing to kind of be like, ugh. I'm going to say this publicly. And so the DHF is, as fun as the process is when people agree with you or disagree with you, it's very interesting to see that everybody is feeling empowered to get into the conversation. And they're not feeling like they have to lie. They're willing to just post and say what they think. And so for me, I love the idea of, getting more people and a diversity of proposals, but also almost like a bounty system for the DHF, in that if I do have a lot of stake and I can kind of really move the needle on a proposal, maybe I should make a list. Maybe we can collect up a community or a post somewhere where everybody says, these are the things that I wish there was a proposal for, almost like an inspiration list. But something else that came up before, and I'll get your opinion on it, was Eric, a nomad soul, was suggesting that if we could actually raise the return, this is an interesting thing, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of wrap it up. But his idea was, no, I think that we should actually almost potentially raise the return, which would force not just whales to vote, but almost everyone to vote. And if it was either you get everybody on board with your thing to get funded, or nobody gets money. And I was like, that's an interesting take. So I thought, okay, I'm going to lob this one at you, because I didn't really know what to say, but I thought it was an interesting thought. So now you get the tough one.
Yeah. I don't think there is a clear-cut solution to... this could probably work, at least in the short term, but it's more of a matter of mentality on Hive. So we need to change the way we think. So when someone that maybe wants to ask for funds from the DHF and has an idea for a project, they pull up the DHF, they see, okay, this is for open source software, this is for PhD, this is for SNC. I don't have something I can do similar to this. I don't have an idea that's even close to developing or stuff like that. So they say, okay, this is what's funded, this is something I can do, so I'm not going to even try.
Yeah.
And this goes back to, okay, the bounty system, you called it bounty system. We need to get people to slowly start and signal what they want to see, what they want to see happening, what are their personal requirements for their vote. I did that a couple of times. I shared, okay, I want to see people trying to promote externally. Spaces on Twitter are a good thing.
Yep.
You mentioned Eric. He has some amazing ideas when it comes to attacking the algorithm on Twitter, how we can do it, get people engaged, get them paid for their contributions. So if we include these requirements by ourselves as an investor, as an account on Hive, to what we want to see, that changes the mentality slowly, and more projects that maybe do something like we are doing right now, or GP is doing with the Hive rally car. More projects like that will start popping up. Just raising the return proposal, maybe it works. I just don't think it's the right solution long term.
Yep, that's fair. So, Chill Zone. Everything is informal here as we come to the end of our time, and a good interview it's been. It's almost like you're natively around cameras a lot or whatever. Now you have an opportunity, because people are watching live and it's less stuffy than over there. You get to close it out with whatever you want. It doesn't have to be blockchain related, but you got people, you got an audience, you got a cheerleader. So what do you want to say? What do you want to wrap it up with? No, you both have to say something. Nobody gets away with it.
We have to say something.
Yeah, you got to say something. No pressure.
Yeah. Don't download my posts on Hive.
When the film comes out, please watch the credits till the end.
Okay, fair enough. If you do, we'll give you an upload.
Mine was dumb.
Well, you can say something else. You have a moment. You can correct it. Oh, it's like the blockchain. It's forever. That's all he said. You guys will remember how dumb it was. All right, fair enough.